What were you most unprepared for when you first started?
The questions kids would ask, especially middle schoolers, they're not shy, and say that they would ask me stories about when I was a little kid. They would ask me stories about my wife. They would ask me anything to get me off topic. I see an interest spark somewhere and I shift the whole lesson towards a student's interest. Students are a great gauge of their interest, especially middle school. They don't have a lot of tact. So if they're bored, they will let you know. The best indicator for me is if a bunch of kids start asking to go to the bathroom, that's usually the sign that I'm boring and they're trying to get out of class. Sometimes they're middle schoolers and sometimes they say that I'm old and they're like, what? Google wasn't around when you were a kid? No, I didn't have Google.
Another thing that I found very interesting, Josh, is that you seem to have a focus on creating rituals.
Every year, there's always one or two things that pop up. For example, for some reason, they squishy toys that they had. And one person threw one on my ceiling and it stuck. And I was like, okay, I can be really annoyed that they threw this at the ceiling, or let's just go with it. And so then I started throwing a bunch of them. Anytime one of them brought one in, I would throw it up on my ceiling. And so I had a whole ceiling covered with all these little sticky toys.
I would have loved to have had you as my middle school teacher.